What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris, man. Y'all know what it is. It's the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, Jamie Council episode. Jamie Council is a good friend of mine. Y'all know she's a sports director at KHQ TV up in Washington. She has been a sideline reporter for hockey. She went to CSU Bernardino, also went to Minot. We're going to find out the correct pronunciation. Minot State University. She graduated from there in North Dakota. She's also been an event specialist. She's been in sales and marketing, and she's also been a sports reporter elsewhere as well. So we're gonna find out her why. We're gonna ask her some questions and welcome her on the podcast. So without any further ado, here's my girl, Jamie. Jamie, what's up? Jamie, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm sorry, I'm smiling. It's just your eyes got so big. You was looking into the camera so big, so I'm smiling.
I was trying to read. I couldn't hear you. I just was reading what was on the screen.
Now you good, girl. You good. Well, I'm glad you're doing good. Welcome to the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast of your boy Chris CD, Chris Drummond. I gotta ask, is there anything new going on before we get started? Anything new with you?
I mean, things are always going on. Starting first boat racing season for me. So that's what we have going on this weekend. So I guess that's kind of top of the mind.
Boat racing. Okay. Like, are you actually gonna be in the race, or are you covering it?
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not racing. That's a bad idea. So I'm just covering it. So yeah, hydro races are really big where I live in the Tri-Cities, Washington. It's the Columbia River. So the H1 Unlimited series. So it's nationwide. So yeah, it's a big deal here.
Okay. Well, I hope that's gonna be tons and tons of fun of boat racing for sure. Without any further ado, I'm gonna get into it. What I want you to do is talk to me a little bit about your childhood, maybe liking sports, playing sports, a combination of both, and why you actually wanted to go and pursue a career in the sports media industry field.
Well, I started playing soccer when I was 7, and I continued playing that through college. And then I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, and it was just how I connected with people, and I enjoyed the competitive aspect of it, the physical aspect of it. And I never really knew what I wanted to do, and one thing led to another, and this is kind of what allowed me to be creative. Like whatever I did, I wanted to have something creative, as well as stay in the sports world. So I wouldn't say I chose it; it more chose me. But yeah, that's kind of where the cards fell, and seemed like that's where I was supposed to be.
Well, you said you was a three-sport athlete, so you said soccer. What was the other two?
So my freshman year, freshman through or 7th through 11th grade, I did volleyball. And then 7th, 8th, and then 10th through 12th grade, I did track. I
Okay.
did softball in 9th grade, and then senior year in fall, I did football.
Football. Okay. All right. I ain't mad at you. Okay. And what position do we play in football?
Oh, kicker. Yeah, I skip arm day, so that's about the only thing I'm good for.
I figured it was either punter or kicker. One of those two probably was gonna be it. But that's okay. That's dope. That's what's up. I love that. Um, so you graduate from high school, playing all those sports. You graduated from high school, and you go to first CSU Bernardino, San Bernardino. Then you transfer to, is it Minot or
Why not? Why not?
Minot State University, and that's in North Dakota. Um, wow, two ends of the spectrum there. When we talk about CSU, San Bernardino, and North Dakota, how the hell did you end up there? And also, um, were there any other schools that could have persuaded you outside of those two that you would have attended?
Yeah, so well, coming out of high school, I didn't apply for any colleges. I was pretty lost in the whole situation. Like I played club soccer, but I didn't play on any big clubs, and then didn't really know how the recruiting process worked. So I actually, coming out of high school, didn't apply to any colleges. Didn't even apply. So I ended up at
Mm,
San Bernardino because a coach that watched me growing up wanted me to play there, and
okay.
so I kind of did the late application, and then it was too big of a school. So then when, like I said, I was close with the coach. I kind of grew up with him in the soccer world, and so there was a couple of other schools that were then interested. And then Minot was the only Division II because I liked playing at like that level. And so they flew me out there on a recruiting trip, and I actually really loved it. So I think my recruiting trip was in February, so it
All
was
right.
still a little cool, like cold. But it was different, and it was really great because it was Division II, but it was only about 4,000 students, so a really like tight knit community.
Mm,
So yeah, I was just like, I don't know if I want to do this, like you said, just the aspect of looking from California to North Dakota, you're like, what the
right.
heck? But on my recruiting trip, it was awesome and made a lot of close bonds, and it's just the type of school that like I wanted to go to get like the personal growth that I wanted in my life at the time.
Uh, that's an amazing answer. No question about it, Jamie. I just it's rare that you see someone go from California to North Dakota. North Dakota. That's just a rarity, but it does fit your it fits your personality, like you said, of a smaller school. Like you said, 4,000 people is not a lot at all. My school, Kennesaw State, averages 30. So to have 4,000 in a state university school, that's something. So it's pretty small, pretty unique, but you graduated from there, got your degree, so obviously it was a really good fit for you. I want to ask you some favorite things. So when I just run them off to you, just let me know. Favorite food?
Sushi.
Okay, I like that. Sushi. Raw or cooked?
Raw. Yeah, I
Raw
grew up
sushi.
in a big fish family. Yeah, so I love sushi.
Okay,
Can't go wrong
awesome.
with that.
That's awesome. Favorite music?
Ooh, I'm kind of a mixed bag on that one. I would say I mean, it kind of depends on my mood. So yeah, I'm really a mixed bag. So just anything with a good beat, usually like,
Hmm.
I'm like listening to music at the gym. So yeah, I'm really all over the place when it comes to music. Just know like
Yeah,
I never got into the screamo or metal. So I would say just nothing
yeah.
like super angry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I didn't get into the bluegrass either. I'm not the bluegrass type, but anything with a good beat, nice lyrics, and not too damn sappy, we gonna listen to it. That's for sure. Um, favorite not music, but movie genre.
Ooh, I really do like comedy. I feel like that's always a really good go-to. I mean, I,
Yeah,
I always appreciate, certain movies, but I think sometimes it's just really nice, like just mindless television where you can just turn it on and watch it and relax versus sometimes you have to like really pay attention or not about the scary movies. So I would say comedy is just a good go-to.
awesome. I like that. I do. Favorite restaurant.
Ooh, I would say Mexican because you get like chips and salsa, so I'm all about that.
You definitely get chips and salsa in Mexican. Yes, this is true. I love
Or do you
Mexican
know
food too.
like genre or like specific restaurant?
No, specific restaurant. Specific restaurant.
Oh, well, this isn't Mexican, but I feel like Bonefish is like a really good one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Bonefish Grill. Are you talking about
yeah,
Bonefish Grill? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Bonefish Grill.
Okay, that's a good restaurant. Yes, it is. Favorite alcoholic drink.
Wine or tequila?
Mm, that's what I'm talking about. Are we talking 1800? We talking Tito's? What kind of tequila we talking about?
I think I have a Resposo now, and then I have some 1800s. So I try different ones.
Yeah.
but the Resposo, I believe it is, or no, Casamiga is the one that I really
That's
like.
smooth. Yeah, that one's real smooth. I like that. Yeah. Oh, okay. I love it. Two more. Favorite place you ever visited?
Ooh, I would say Maui was really cool. I only went
Oh,
one time, but that was really cool. I got to go with my family. We didn't go on too many family trips, so that was really cool, and it was just absolutely beautiful there.
I like that. Now, favorite sport you like to play?
Like ever or like now, because my knees can't hold up.
Well, give me both of them. Give me ever and now. Give me both.
Well, I mean, soccer, I probably has my best playing memories. And then now I stick to volleyball and softball mainly. Yeah, I've had a few knee surgeries, so soccer doesn't really happen too much.
I understand. I like that. I like that, Jamie, a lot. So you graduate and then you go to the job of being a hockey sports sideline reporter, if I'm not mistaken. And then from there, not only do you do the hockey sports reporter thing, but you also are a Next Star Sports anchor after that and a reporter for the Next Star Group. Can you talk about those two particular jobs and what impact they had on you and also what you took from them that you apply to your job now?
Yeah, so I got the job with the hockey team. So I worked with the hockey team throughout college for a paid internship. And then after that, I went to work with a hockey production company. And so it was really cool because just to have the live game experience, to be able to be in the games, that was a really cool aspect to have like right away young. So to be comfortable in that, where some people are like, I don't even know, like, what would you ask somebody that's like coming off the ice or
Right, right.
whatever, like I wouldn't even know what to say. So that was just a really cool I guess tool to put in my belt early on, that makes me comfortable more in live games that a lot of people don't have that experience until later.
That's true.
And then working with Next Star, that was really great because that's when, where a lot of the journalism theory that comes into it, where a lot of people like sports, they're good at talking, they have camera presence, but being able to write a shot sheet, knowing what a VOSOP versus a package, knowing how to do different shot compilations, or just learning the basics of journalism, and being in a working newsroom. So I think there's a lot of different aspects of being in it. So my job with Next Star really helped kind of build the basis for what it means to work in a newsroom and then in a sports setting.
Absolutely. And right, and we're gonna get into it a little bit later, but right now you're a sports director, if I'm not mistaken, for KHQ, uh, or am I right about that? KHQ TV.
Yeah, so KHQ is our parent company. So I'm KNDUKNDO, SWX is the official call signs, but we are associated with KHQ out of Spokane, but I'm in the Tri-Cities, so it's mainly KNDU and KNDO.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, we definitely gonna get into that soon. That's for sure. The next question that I have is, now you seem like a very bubbly, personable person to be around. Easy to talk to, obviously, because we've talked to each other before. But I want you to tell me, how do you handle your work life and your social life, but also maintain mental health balance? Obviously, you being a sports director, you are one man band, or there's times where you might only have one other person with you in the department, but you're working all the time, nights and weekends. You miss a lot of time with your family, friends, loved ones. And then you also work, like I said, breaking news stuff. So you work all the time, and sports is 365, it's all year round. So how do you maintain that work life, social life, but also maintain a good mental health balance so that you don't get, burnt out or stressed out?
Yeah, so everything with the balance is just something you're constantly working at. And I think that just knowing your limitations or being able to rely on others is huge in this. Or sometimes I get so caught up, and so being able to rely on my news director of saying, hey, like this is what's going on, or hey, is there a better way I can do this, that
Hmm.
everybody in the industry is in the same boat. So I think not, being able to rely on other people, and then taking time. So I mean, yeah, it's always going to be a balance, and there's going to be days when you lose. That's just kind of the nature of the beast, because sports don't stop, and you want to always, be competitive too with your coverage, and you want to be doing more and better than the next person. But you also, sometimes being a team, we have a team of two here that we have part-time people, but knowing that you can't cover everything, where just this weekend I made something, sent it out, and my news director is like, hey, like how are we going to do this without getting overtime? And so in my head I'm being like, oh well, if they started this time, and she's just like, no, like that's too much, like let's just not cover this. And for me, I'm just like, ugh, but I want to, but I totally get, like, so being able to have that checks and balances, and
Right.
being able to rely on other people, is really important, because sometimes other people see a different way to do it, or being able to know the limitations, because that is a huge thing in this, and you see a lot of people not survive in the industry or get out of the industry
Right.
because they have a hard time drawing that line and making that balance.
Now, how do you? What would you say is some techniques that you use to kind of just relax or put the phone down? 'Cause, sometimes you gotta be tapped into social media. Sometimes you gotta be, it's just hard. It's hard to kind of tap out at times. So, what are some techniques that you do that you relax and just say, "I'm gonna get away from this for a while"?
I think the biggest thing is preparation. Because if you're prepared, so let's say you have a show or you have a busy week, if you lay out everything beforehand,
Hmm.
because if you know what you have to do tomorrow and you're already prepared for it, then thinking about it now, it's just a disservice to yourself. So
Right.
I think just having that peace of mind of knowing that you are organized, and if you're like, there's possibly no way for me to get organized, like, either one, you need to up your organizational skills, or two, you need to check what you're actually doing, that one person does have their limitations.
Right.
So I think, yeah, just organization is a big thing for me personally, knowing that I have all my ducks in a row, so that way when I am off the clock, it's tomorrow's problem.
I love that. I do. It's easier said than done, but I do love the fact that you put the word organization out there because I'm a natural planner myself. I like to plan things out, as you know, as I've sent you like that whole list of days and times. I'm really kind of methodical like that because I have to be able to plan stuff out to be able to give myself time to say, okay, I have free time to do this, 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 because like you said, when you know your work schedule, you know what's ahead. It's best that you do lay it out so that way you can free up some time for yourself to do what you want to do. So totally rock with that for sure. Um, I'm gonna ask you some this or that questions, Jamie. Okay,
Okay.
so you pick one or the other. All right, it doesn't matter which one you pick. You just go ahead. The first one is drive-ins or movie theaters.
Drive-ins. Only
Wow.
if they have the popcorn. So,
What?
well,
Really?
one, movie theaters are always way too cold. I hate it. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah. True.
and then
True.
plus you're just always sitting there, and I feel like if I want to just sit there, I'll be at home. And so like my main reason for going to movie theaters is because I love popcorn. So like I'll
Mm.
go to movie theaters for the popcorn, but then drive-ins are a really cool experience. So I
They are.
appreciate the experience of drive-ins more so than movie theaters, but my only reason for like wanting to go to movie theaters is for the popcorn. So can we just like
That's
combine the best of both worlds on that one?
right, right. I'm with you on the driving. I don't think I've ever ran into a driving that didn't have popcorn. Have you ever ran into a driving that didn't?
No, but usually movie theater popcorn is better because then they have like the butter
Yeah,
versus just, so it has to be
that is true.
movie theater popcorn at the drive-in.
That's true. That's true. I normally go to the movie theaters because they have my high C drink. I'm a high C connoisseur. I love my high. I don't matter what high C it is. I just love it. If they don't have it, I'm walking out. That's just the way it is. Um, Popeyes or KFC?
I would. I don't know if I've ever been to a Popeyes, to be
Oh my
completely
goodness.
honest.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, I guess
By
KFC.
default, KFC.
Yeah, by default. I'm pescatarian, so I mean I don't eat a lot of chicken,
I
but
understand.
yeah, so
Okay.
we'll have to nix that one out.
We'll definitely get you at least one time. Put that on the bucket list. You've had some Popeyes, just one time. A 2-piece and a biscuit. You ain't got to have a whole lot of chicken. Just 2 pieces. That's it. And we can go from there. That's awesome. Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Christmas,
I like it. I like it. That's cool. Uh, Bowling or softball?
softball.
MJ or LeBron?
Oh gosh. I'd say LeBron just because I feel like MJ was like a little bit before my time. Like I definitely enjoy it, but I feel like I'm getting to watch Braun now, so I feel more closely like I'm
Mm,
witnessing it right now. Now that like MJ was a little bit before my time,
yeah.
so I would say LeBron just because I get to watch it. Like
Right. Right.
it's
You
part of
watched
like
his whole career pretty much.
exactly
Yeah. Brady or Montana?
what.
Brady or Montana?
Again, I'm Brady. It's within my time, and so I feel like you always that's like just the most common thing is discuss older players with newer players, and so I mean I've watched Brady in my time, and
That makes sense. That makes sense, James. Okay. Washington or California?
um I don't know. Um,
These are the hard hitting questions, Jamie. These
I
are
would say
hard hitting.
California just because my family's there.
Okay. Now,
So
what part of California is your family?
So most of them live in Southern. I grew up in Central California, like San Luis Obispo, but all my family lives in Southern California. So yeah, so it's just always nice going and visiting them. Probably if I lived there, I would say Washington because I really do like Washington. But
Yeah,
I always have a good time when I go back because I see family, go to the beach, and it's just
without question. Yes, I went to San Diego in June. That's where I grew up in San Diego. So that was a great
beautiful.
experience. And I plan on actually going to Seattle later this year. That's for sure. That's on the bucket list because I've never been. I like visiting great cities like Seattle. And Spokane is also a good city that I've heard good things about as well, but not as big as Seattle from what I heard. So it's all
Yeah, Seattle's a pretty cool place.
good. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we got two more. Two more this or that. Basketball or football?
Football.
And this last one here is about wings. So I'm gonna ask you about this one. Lemon pepper or barbecue?
Lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper. I like that. Dry rub or wet?
I always enjoyed wet.
Oh, so did I. Yes. The weather, the better. That's my slogan. So I like it like that too. Yes, indeed.
I'm all about
Um,
chips.
you're right. You're right about that. So now you move on to your next jobs of being now being a sports um, specialist or not event specialist, sorry, and a sales marketing position. Those were the next two occupations that you had from the prior two that we talked about. What changes did you have to make in doing those jobs as opposed to the other jobs that we mentioned before?
Um, well, I just with a lot of the things we talked earlier about, like the mental health aspect of the
Okay.
job, where that's what caused me to take a couple years out of the sports communications world, and then during it, I knew that like that's what I wanted to do. I felt more fulfilled doing it. But as far as like what changes, it was it was nice. I had, nights and weekends and made more money, and so those things were nice.
Yeah, that's always nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I knew that this is what I wanted to do, and a lot of transferable skills. But I think I like doing something that I'm passionate about. Where it's the oldest saying in the book: "Do something you love, and you never have to work." So
That's true.
that's kind of what I realized is I wanted to do something that I was more passionate about, rather than just a job where I didn't feel fulfilled.
Absolutely. It's always tough to make that decision whether you want to go to a job that pays you more money. But when you're doing something that you love to do, like you said, you don't really call it work. It's just a career, right? And speaking of you getting back into that, I would ask you, what is the top 3 or 4 stories slash events you would like to cover in this industry, and why?
Like in my current role, or just like overall?
Overall, yeah, because you're right now you're a sports director, and I'm sure you cover different things. But what stories would you like to, like, as goals of stories that you would like to cover in your career in the sports media industry field, and why?
Um, I like to do player profiles. So I think it'd be really cool to do that in a professional sports world on more of a high scale, because now like you do them, but it's not as widely viewed, and to be able to get to know people that people think they know.
Right,
I
right.
mean, it's not like one particular player where it's just about making those connections. So that's something that I now I feel like I'm actually okay at, where I've done. I did one on Adam Thielen's, like very very early in my career when he was just starting.
Wow.
Yeah, I have some connections. My strength coach went to college with him, because he played football in the NSIC. I played soccer in the NSIC, and so anyways, there was close ties in my last market, and so that's one player that I was able to do stuff. So that was really cool, especially seeing like how
Yeah,
much his career
absolutely.
has grown now,
Yeah.
because you really get to know the player behind it rather than just stats. So I would say, yeah, doing like a player profile on like in a professional setting would be really cool to be able to dabble in that more.
Okay.
Um, then I think it'd be cool to do a live game in some aspect, whether that's sideline reporting, color, or something on for a network. I mean, I'm doing that like smaller scale. I've done that, so that'd be cool to be able to work up to that.
I can see that.
And then yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I haven't really thought that far. I just gotta take things as they come.
No, that's totally cool. That's totally cool. I know for me, I would love to do World Series at some point, cover something like that. Would love to do a March Madness. Would love to cover that. Obviously, with the Olympics coming to Los Angeles in about 7 years, that's my hometown state. So obviously, would love to do that. So those are some things I would love to do for sure. And then being on the sidelines of the NBA Finals, because basketball is probably my favorite sport. Ooh, excuse me. So I would love that for sure. I know you guys are excited down there getting the Seattle hockey team, because the Kraken just had the expansion draft
Yeah.
yesterday. So that's going to be great for the state of Washington for sure. So more people, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully, a basketball team comes back down there as well. That would be amazing as well. So yeah, but those are some great story ideas. I can certainly see you doing color and broadcasting. Now, what sport would you do that for?
Well, I've been doing it this year. I did it for football and hockey. So yeah, we have a secondary sports channel. So and then I think I'll be doing football play-by-play in the fall. But I've been doing color for football and hockey um,
Okay.
this past year.
Is it a particular team that you do, or do you kind of bounce around to different teams?
So for football, it's different teams. It's been high school. And then I think we're going to be doing some Central Washington games this year, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a
nice.
Division II here. And then for hockey, it's WHL, so it's with the Tri-City Americans. So yeah, with like you mentioned, with the Kraken, the expansion draft that took place yesterday, there's a couple of former Tri-City Americans. Morgan Geeky, that's on the team. He played 4 years here, so that's kind of a cool tie. So so yeah, it's WHL hockey, so it's junior.
Now that's awesome. Yeah. I love some hockey. I do, no question about it. That's pretty special, pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
we were hoping Carey Price would get picked up. Carey Price has a house here and is a former Tri-City American as well. So,
Oh
but
wow.
yeah, that didn't happen. But we'll
Yeah, I think it'll be hard for Montreal to let him go. That's for sure. Him being one of the better goalies in the league, that would be pretty. Man, that would be pretty catastrophic
I
for
mean, they
that team.
left him exposed, so there was a chance, but I think just with his, taking a look at, the salary cap, and he had so much money, I think that they knew that it wouldn't be a smart business decision, so they
Mm,
exposed him. So I think he would have been happy either way, like Carey Price, where it's like I'm from here, but then, yeah, he just was too expensive of a
yeah,
player probably for the
he's a
Kraken to pick
damn good
up.
goalie. He's a damn
Yeah.
good one in the NHL. And you're right, it would have been great to come back home, but that money though, they would have to pay him. They would have throw the Brinks truck at him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
To get him. But it's great, like I said, for Seattle to have a franchise. I'm looking forward to seeing them play this upcoming year. I know the NHL schedule drops later this evening, so I'm looking forward to some games and hopefully seeing if I can attend some for sure. Um, Advice. I want to ask this question, and this is a question that I want to know from you is that any advice that you hold on dearly to that someone has either gave you or you gave to someone.
Um, well, I would say two things. One is something that somebody told me yesterday that really stuck with me.
Okay.
And it's kind of like choosing your battles, where he said, is this the hill you want to die on?
Wow.
And
Okay.
so yeah, when you're you're always gonna have, maybe somebody is like giving pushback or something, and so I think just putting things into perspective, where you always want to like defend yourself or your work or defend this or that, or viewers or whatever it is, and is it worth your time? Is it worth your peace of mind? Is this the hill you want to die on?
Wow.
So yeah, that really stuck with me. And I think the second is, obviously in this industry, it's always like, yes, like I want to work Super Bowl, World Series, Olympics, all of that thing. And so like, don't get me wrong, I would love to cover those, but I think I really like to keep things in perspective too, of okay, what can I do today to
Yeah.
put myself in the best position
Yeah.
that later on down the line, like I can do that. So, like when you're younger, you're like, yeah, I would love to do this, but what if right now somebody shoved you into doing that? You would be like, I don't even know where to start. So I
Right.
think like,
Right.
just constantly knowing where you are, and then keeping in mind how can you get better to be able to be better at your job tomorrow than you are today, and just work your way up.
I like the live in the moment mentality. I really do. I like that. You have to. It's great to have goals, like you said. Everyone has them. You, me, everybody. But you always want to try to get better each day to progress to those goals. That's true. And then your first statement, yeah, you do have to pick and choose your battles. Are there times? And let me ask you: are there times where that you see people on social media maybe troll you, or what kind of challenges do you face being in this industry as a minority of this industry? Because I say that because there's not a lot of women that are sports directors. There's just not. There's not a lot of women in this industry. Period. Whatever ethnicity you are, and it needs to be more. That can't be overstated enough. So, what kind of challenges do you face? Do you face trolls? Do you face other challenges?
Me personally, like I don't get a ton of like personal direct attacks. But being in media in general, like you can post a story, and I think I did a story on a little kid that was doing NBA predictions, and it was just a cute little story, and it was posted on our actual page, and then it was just like, who do you think will win the NBA finals? And then just to have people like post like, well, we don't care about the NBA, or who cares, or like, just like certain things. It's just like, why do you even have to post that?
Right, right.
Like what, it's just like, it has nothing to do with my story. It has nothing to do with me. It's just like, who cares? It's just like, why do you even have to comment that? Like, what's
Right.
what's wrong with you guys? So I think just internet trolls in general can be kind of tough sometimes.
Yeah.
And then with the whole thing about being the minority, I try not to think about that, and then you're always going to run into it. And I think just, as you get further into it, you learn to differentiate people that actually have feedback versus people that maybe just aren't used to seeing a female like in the role or this or that. So I think being able to differentiate that, and then at the end of the day, your work speaks for you, that what you are. A lot of people like to put, oh well, I'm, whether it be I'm a female, or I'm, their race, or whatever it is, like, okay, well, I'm Asian, I'm black, I'm this, I'm a female. And then at the end of the day, like, you want your work to speak for you, and
Yeah.
then what you happen to be like, that really gives you an edge, that you have a unique view that other people don't do, where I can connect with female athletes more so than my male counterparts. And so who you are gives you a unique perspective, but at the end of the day, like, you need to realize that like your work and your job is what comes first. And sometimes that gets a little bit backwards, and in
Yeah.
something where you're a journalist, not there's always room for YouTubers, podcasters that talk about certain issues, but
Right.
to be a journalist, you want to put your work first.
Now that's great. I love the way that you put that. I asked that question because it is challenging. And yeah, the perception is that there's just not enough women, and people don't look at women in the hierarchy roles. And people say it's a male-dominated industry. I'm sure you've heard that line before, and it's been said multiple times. But it's really best to look at the person, not just about the role. And it's best, like you said, look at the work that they're doing, because you're deserving of being a sports director. I've seen your work, and if people have not seen Jamie's work, they need to go to YouTube, look at some of her reels, and look at what she does, because she does phenomenal work with multitude of different kind of stories that you've done that I've seen. You do great work, but
Thank
the point is to definitely look at the person and what they're doing as far as work, and not worry about ethnicity, not worried about what gender they are. Hopefully, we'll get there as a society one day. I know the needle's moving slow, but it's moving, and that's the point. The point is it's definitely moving for sure. Couple things. First thing I want to say is that I want to say thank you for coming on to my Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. I hope people uh, watch this episode after I post it up and learn a little bit more about you, where you're from, where you came from in California, where you've been at as far as the next star, being a sideline reporter, being out of the industry, coming back into the industry, and also being a sports director now in a hierarchy position. I hope people can learn to see that through hard work and different things that you do, that you too can be there as well, or whatever you pursue as far as the role. The second thing I want to tell you, I see somebody in the background. That's a beautiful background, by the way. The second thing I want to tell you is that I do graduate in 9 days. It's
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's long overdue, no question. And I'm going to be looking in all kinds of areas, especially the West Coast, because that's where my heart is. I'm from there. I love the West Coast, Washington area as well. If you hear of anything in any cities that's current, whether it's your series or what's your city, I should say, or Spokane or any other city in the Washington area, or any links that you may know of, please don't hesitate to send them my way. I'll see if it fits me and if it's good for me, and we'll go from there. Um, I always end my podcast like this. Is there anything else you would like to add before we conclude?
For you, I know one thing when I was first, tvjobs.com is a great way if you're looking for jobs. And then as far as people like references, that's a really great way. And I think it's great that you're connecting with people. But just with your last note that you're looking, TV Jobs is a great way to find different jobs, whether it be in like producing, reporting, any role within the TV industry. And I mean, I started in the control room, so even if you're not getting an on-air job right away, just to be able to have that experience. I mean, I started when I was in college, so it was a little different for me, but I was thankful for my experience working in the control room, doing cameras, CGs, all of that stuff, because I work with these people and it's like, I've done your job before. So, yeah, you got to start somewhere, but TV Jobs is something I'd recommend to you.
All right. Well, I will definitely keep that in mind, Jamie Council, tvjobs.com. Once again, thank you for coming on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, Conversations with CD. And you enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon. And please, as usual, don't be a stranger. And I know you won't because we always talk. So we good.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem.